A very good morning. We greet to our doctor. So today, me and my group mates, we will be talking about the impact of social media on youth mental health. And my name is Brushel Ryut, and I am the moderator for our today's forum. So, what is the title of our discussion today? The title of our discussion is going to be about the impact of social media on youth mental health. Let's just look at the overview of it. So, social media significantly shapes youth mental health, offering both emotional support and harmful exposure. While it connects and empowers, excessive or unregulated use can lead to anxiety, low self esteem, and academic distraction. So, in today's forum, we will be having four rounds of questions for each panelist. For closing segments, I will thank the panelists and later on mention what are the takeaways from our discussion today, and I'll end it with a quote. For the evidences, in one of the articles from U.S. Surgeon General's advisory on social media and youth mental health, there are a few things that are being highlighted inside the article where they mentioned about how social platforms can enhance peer solidarity and emotional support. And it also details on this research linking social media with anxiety, depression, cyberbullying, and sleep problems. In that article also, they explores how mental health issues like poor sleep and anxiety can hinder focus and academic performance. Later on in the article, the authors recommend how screen time boundaries and digital literacy and parental or family involvement and supportive environments can cater to whatever problems that we are facing through the impact of social media in the youth mental health issue. There are a few questions that I'll be asking. First of all, I'll ask to our panelists that how can online communities provide emotional support during tough times, and how emotional risk comes from comparing oneself to others online. Thirdly, how does constant social media use interfere with study time and concentration? And last but not least, what healthy habits can help youth use media more mindfully? So let's just move forward to our next slide. All right, I'll hand it to my fellow panelists here today.
Hi, my name is Nur Arisha Nadira, and I will be your first panel. I will be talking about the positive side of social media. And my first point would be for social support and connection. I will be explaining more on the main point, and I will be giving an elaboration and the result of it. And I will also be touching an article from Journal of about a study that they did. So the next point would be access to mental health resources. I'll again be explaining more about the point, give an elaboration and the result of it, and I will be touching on evidence from Mental Health America statistics. The next one would be peer encouragement and motivation. I'll explain more on that and why it matters and what's the result of that. And I'll be using an evidence from an article also, Naslan et al. And the next one would be destigmatization of mental health issues. I'll explain more on that, elaboration and example and why it matters. And the evidence would be from research in the journal Cyber Psychology. So I'll pass on to the next panel.
Hi, my name is Farna Izati binti Muhammad Tahir. My student ID is A211013. As panelist number 3, I will talk about the negative effects of social media. I have three key points that I plan to touch during the forum. First is First is increased anxiety and depression, where exposure to idealized life online foster negative self-comparison, low self-esteem, and emotional distress. I have one article that I plan to cite and back up my main point, which is according to Mendelssohn, the standard for beauty or strength can be very unrealistic through social media. We are seeing models and athletes and we are comparing ourselves. This can have negative effect on our mental health. I plan to touch this topic because as you guys, as doctor and everyone know, there have been a trend going around online where they promote unhealthy lifestyle like what I eat in a day, and that can foster a very harmful effect to the viewers. And next, I plan to touch for my point two is FOMO and digital dependency. You may ask, what is FOMO? I'm sure everyone already know what is FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out and the need for constant validation through likes and comments that create a cycle of emotional dependency and insecurity among the youths. I have an article that can back up this evidence at this point, which is the idea that you are missing out on certain thing can impact your self-esteem, trigger anxiety, and feel even greater social media use, which can lead to addiction. And I plan to touch the FOMO one because you know how like when we see on social media we see the perfect lifestyle, we see like our friend, our colleague, and even influencer going around traveling, getting a great achievement, and then even though we know they may be edited or it may not even be real, it will trigger something in us that can lead to something more bad for ourselves that we can never know until it is too late. And for the next part, for my third point, which is the last one, I plan to touch about how social media, the negative effect is it disrupts sleep and emotional control. Late night scrolling and screen exposure disrupts sleep cycle, which worsen mood, increase irritability, and weakens emotional regulation. As the evidence three mentioned, doom scrolling and emotionally charged content on social media keeps your brain in a state of heightened alertness, making it harder to relax and fall asleep. Emotionally stimulating content can trigger increased cognitive and psychological arousal that delays sleep onset. This I plan to talk about how like like as we ourselves as the panelists, I'm sure we have been in this situation before. Like we say like 10 more minutes until I sleep, and then you scroll on TikTok, and then the 10 minutes turn into 1 hour, 2 hour. So it's like a never ending cycle that we can never break. And when you wake up in the morning, you feel extra tired and more grumpy, so that can lead to actually many more effects. And I also plan to briefly mention, I think it can relate to point number one about how cyberbullying, because like on social media, you never know what will happen, right? So I think that's all I plan so far for my part as panel number one. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. I am panel number 3 and my name is Nur Atika Farha binti Jamdin. My metric number is A210975. I would like to talk about an issue that affects many young youth, especially in this digital area, which is how social media affects student focus and academic performance. I will highlight three main points: distraction and procrastination, multitasking and cognitive overload, and mental health issue. Firstly, I'll talk about distraction and procrastination. Social media is designed to be engaging and entertaining. While that is not necessarily a bad thing, it often becomes a major distraction for students. Instead of doing their homework or revising for exams, many students end up spending hours scrolling through Instagram, watching TikToks, or chatting on WhatsApp. As supported by the article that I found by Moraru, 2024, social media can cause distraction, lack of sleep, and tiredness, all of which reduce concentration and directly affect productivity. And this shows that the more time students spend on social media, the less time and energy they have for their studies. Secondly, my point is social media also leads to multitasking and cognitive overload, which is many students believe they can study while checking their notifications or watching short videos. However, research shows that multitasking actually reduces efficiency. According to Chen and Xiao 2022, constantly switching between studying and using social media leads to reduced cognitive efficiency and mental fatigue. This means that even though students think they are being productive, their brains are actually getting tired more quickly and they're absorbing less information. Lastly, my point is we must consider the mental health impact of excessive social media use. Overusing social media can make students feel anxious, depressed, or even isolated. These negative emotions can affect focus, motivation, and overall academic performance. As stated by the latest paid accounting scholarship, social media overuse contributes to anxiety and depression, which in turn weakens students' ability to concentrate and do well in school. When a student is mentally exhausted, emotionally overwhelmed, it is very hard for them to stay focused in class or complete assignments effectively. In conclusion, while social media has its benefits, it's clear that in my point that I'm presenting that it also poses serious challenges for students and youth to focus in academic success. That's all for my points.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nurul Natasha binti Abu Bakar, matrix number A211824. I will be the panelist for solutions and responsible use. In today's digital era, social media has become a vital part of our everyday lives. But alongside the benefits of social media, there's growing concern about its effect and its effect on mental health. Many young people are struggling with anxiety, depression, low self esteem. So, how to address this impact? I provided three solutions and also responsible use, which is digital literacy education, healthy screen time habits, and family support system. And give I will give three overview for each of them. First of all, digital literacy education. Digital literacy equips students with the critical thinking skills that they need to navigate online spaces safely. Uh, it accru- According to Cohen from 2024, it encourages them to assess information, avoid digital threats, and make smart choices. So that this proactive education system supports mental well-being by reducing the risk of misinformation, cyberbullying, and also harmful content. Secondly, I'll be talking about the healthy screen time habits. As screen time continues to increase, especially among preteens, managing how and when youth use devices become essential. I'll be putting the evidence according to CHOC Children's Health from 2024, where preteens, which is children aged 8 to 12 years, spend about 5.5 hours daily on devices, up an hour from a decade earlier. This encouraging youth to manage their screen time use through tools like timers, screen-free zones, and digital detoxes that can promote a healthier balance between online and offline life. Lastly, family support system. Family plays a vital role in shaping healthy digital behavior, right? I'll be planning to talk about by setting boundaries, having open conversation, and promoting mindful use of technology, so that parents and guardians can create a supportive environment for their child. And for the evidence, I will put from the evidence by Callahan. I will start from Callahan from 2025, uh, where where it notes that such involvement helps reduce isolation and encourages youth to seek help when affected by social media. So, even though social media is deeply woven into the life of young people, I think it also carries risks to their mental health. So that by promoting digital literacy, encouraging healthy screen time habits, and fostering the family support system can create a safer online environment. With the right tools, guidance, and awareness, social media can be used not as a threat, but as a force for positive growth and connection among youth. That is all from me.
So thank you to each and every one of you. Then I will proceed after with all the explanation. I will proceed with the questions, and I'll ask everyone, each panelist, one question per person, and I hope everyone can answer whatever the questions I'll give to you. And after that, I will come up with a summary on what we have talked and discussed in our forum today. So I think that is all from us. Thank you.